So one of the complaints that I love waking up to in the morning is Quadview isn't working. And really that should have a correction. Quadview isn't perfect. So if we press Control Alt Q, which one is it? I believe it's Control Alt Q. Yes, it is. We can jump into Quadview where I can draw a shape. And if we press Tab, we can look around, we can rotate our view, and we can grab the dots and move these around to adjust our shape. But the problem is people definitely want to go into Quadview and grab this shape by this dot and actually move it around, which, as you can see, once you do that, moves the shape around in an undesirable way, possibly breaking the operation. So because of that, the best improvement we were able to come up with BoxCutter at this time was getting it to work in its origin view, because being able to find the exact view and then raycast everything and retranslate everything on the fly was something that proved to be a little difficult. However, it is something that we are currently checking into, but it is something I wanted to address in this video for something users can actually be aware of, because it is something that, you know, I do bring up every now and then as a still ongoing issue that should probably be dealt with. However, when it comes to Blender, there are certain things that we're just not able to deal with at the time that people would like them. So it is something that, you know, I have to put on the, you know, long-term list. But, you know, whenever it comes to these things, sometimes the solutions are a long time in coming, but we definitely don't forget about the shortcomings that limit us as far as the extent of our dreams and what we could be capable of. So while Quadview isn't absolutely perfect, the fact that you're able to at least move the dots in the origin view is something that we consider a small victory, and was a phase that I didn't think that we would even get to at that. So it's just a matter of time until it is solved adequately. But I just want to do a small segment ensuring that users are at least aware of this limitation. Whenever it comes to me, I'm not a big fan of Quadview. I will typically just split a view if I need to. But even with that, you are limited to your origin view whenever it comes to modifying your dots. In fact, let's try that again. And we see that in the second view, we're not able to do anything except apply the shape. But if we go back to our origin view, we can actually move things around, and we're not even able to do that. So there may be some improvements they were able to have with split displays. But whenever it comes to modeling, typically I keep everything on this large main display. So this may be another limitation of dots in themselves and its ability to deal with multiple displays. But I just want to do a segment just talking about this as an FYI, just in case you're using BoxCutter and you're running into this. Now, if we wanted to actually get into the minutia of this, while it is failing, we can still press G in order to translate this shape wherever we want. In fact, we can go up to the BoxCutter top bar and choose the option of pencil to basically redraw the shape as we want, and we can still use Shift in order to constrain it. We can use Alt in order to draw it from center and bring it out a different way, and we can still just draw it and place it. And then when it comes to extrude and offset, which is what these two dots are, we are able to press E and O. So the functionality isn't completely locked out whenever you're in this sort of workflow. It's just you may have to possibly fall back to the hotkeys of pressing E, which E is actually a toggle for both E and O, so you can actually press E to extrude and then press E to offset in order to move the top face if you're dealing with box. And then for bevel, bevel has the hotkey of B. So if you're limited out of not being able to use the hotkey of B, you're still able to press B to trigger the bevel modal while inside of the draw state and bring in the shape in order to turn it from a bevel to a chamfer just on the fly in order to just quickly get control. And then of course, I'm pretty sure while this dot looks so delicious and I want to click it, if I do, it will apply instead of letting me maneuver it. And to just double check and confirm that this is a bug, then I'm going to resend back up the ladder just to test everyone and drive them crazy. I'm going to draw a shape, press tab for live, and attempt to bring it up, and it's just not going to work. And we will consolidate this view and attempt to do it again, tab, and we bring it up and it works perfectly fine. Same thing for the top dot. And dots are still fairly new. We consider everything to be somewhat in development until it finally gets to that final phase in which there are no longer any more user complaints. But I always like to be upfront with the issues that we face and how they could possibly be solved. Sometimes it's people in the audience themselves that write me and they're like, hey man, I got this solution, man. I'm like, hey, let's let's talk about it. Let's get that thing solved. So with that, I just want to let it be known that multiple views can cause some issues, but there are hotkeys to have your back, which I'll be going over more in depth as this video goes on.